What does it look like when a basketball career completely falls apart in slow motion? Because Chennedy Carter just gave us a masterclass. She's banned from the WNBA. She's posting cryptic tweets about Angel Reese's layups. And she's going on a podcast claiming Angel Ree ordered the hit on Caitlin Clark. That's the damage control strategy. That's the plan. And she's doing all of this while averaging over 30 points a game overseas. Talent that should be getting her a roster spot somewhere in the United States. So, why won't any WNBA team touch her? The answer goes way deeper than one hip check. And how exactly did she throw Ree under the bus? Do you think Ree is really to blame? Let me know down in the comments below. And it looked like Chennedy Carter had finally broken her silence about this Caitlin Clark situation. Chennedy Carter just jumped out the window and justified an assault on Caitlin Clark. Here is the thing about Carter throwing Reese under the bus. It actually makes more sense once you know what was already happening inside that Chicago organization, because the sky was a complete mess long before June 2024. Look, as an organization, we just, felt it was time to make a change. There are just, private issues, and I think we will keep Justin Skywalker. When GM Jeff Peglarka fired coach Teresa Weatherspoon after the season, he did not give some vague, "we're going in a different direction" speech. He was unusually direct about it. League sources confirmed that the coaching environment had essentially catered to the needs of a few specific players, rather than building something that could actually win basketball games. And when you look at how the 2024 season actually played out, you can see exactly what that means. The Sky finished 13th and 27th. That is near the bottom of the entire league. But while the team was losing at that rate, Angel Ree was putting up massive rebounding numbers that were getting highlighted every single night. So, you had this really obvious gap. The team is losing. One player's individual stats look great, and the coach is running the offense in a way that feeds those numbers. Sources specifically described it as the offense being tailored to feed Ree for stat padding. That is a direct quote from people inside the league. Stat padding. This is the very definition of stat padding. You are down by 22 points, and you've got the Fever's bench player, bench player, bench player, bench player, and bench player. Playing against a bench player, bench player, bench player, bench player, and starter just so that she can get her double-double for a rookie in a single season. She's going to offer bucket triple-doubles on the season. Another rookie record for Ree. Carter, meanwhile, was leading the team in scoring at 17.5 points per game. So, she was not some bench warmer with a chip on her shoulder. She was the team's best scorer, putting up real numbers, watching the team go nowhere. And according to those same league sources, players around the roster were genuinely unhappy with the dynamic that Weatherspoon allowed to exist, specifically because Carter's behavior was going unchecked, which created its own separate layer of problems on top of everything else. So you have got a losing team, a coach playing favorites, a leading scorer whose conduct issues nobody is addressing, and a locker room full of players who are watching all of it happen. That is not a personality conflict. That is a structural failure. And Peglarka basically said so himself when he pulled the trigger on Weatherspoon. According to league sources, Weatherspoon had lost a locker room because of a culture that catered to the needs of a few players. Dear Lord. And then it spilt onto Twitter. Carter posted that cryptic tweet about layup efficiency, how the ability to consistently make layups puts players in a different tier. No name attached. Did not need one. Ree responded with, "What's understood doesn't need to be explained." And that was it. Two teammates going at each other publicly on social media during the same season they were supposedly playing together. Nobody in management stepped in and made it stop. It just played out in front of everyone. Is Chennedy Carter's Instagram account right here, guys? And I'm here to tell you, bro, she's been going on a little rant all night long. Now, this is the tweet right here that kind of sparked everything. She stated, "I think the ability to consistently make layups just puts anyone in a different tier. It's so important to score easy." Now, a lot of people are insinuating that this tweet is towards Angel Ree. That kind of public back and forth does not happen unless things inside that locker room are already completely broken. You do not air that stuff out on Twitter if there is any functional relationship left to protect. And then there is Marina Mabury. She got traded to the Connecticut Sun, and almost immediately she said she was excited to be on a team that could compete for a championship. That was the first thing out of her mouth. Then later she went further. She talked about Connecticut having a level of discipline and professionalism where players just focus on basketball, where experienced veterans hold people accountable and protect the environment. She did not say Chicago's name once. She did not have to. Now, Marina Mabury, she's already flown the coop on this team. And it was quote-unquote because of culture. Well, what happened to the culture? Who torched the culture? Who's selfish on the team that would cause the culture to mess up to melt down? And Mabury was in that locker room. She saw the favoritism. She saw the disconnect between what the coach was doing and what the team actually needed. And the second she got out, she basically described Connecticut as the opposite of everything she had just left. So when Carter goes on a podcast and says Ree told her to foul Clark, that includes blaming Angel Reese for the whole thing. Recently, Carter sat down with Neon. And let's talk about that choice for a second. Neon is not ESPN. He is not a serious sports journalist doing accountability interviews. He is a streamer who built his brand on chaos and controversy. And that is the stage Carter picked to try to fix her reputation. That tells you a lot about the strategy here. I think a play before maybe I was elbowed. Okay, that happens. Think the next play down, maybe something was said, and then maybe there was, like, a little clip of somebody, like, in my face, and then we go down the court, and then I hit, like, a little bucket, you feel me? Come down, hit like a nice mid-range pull-up, and then I just like, just give her like a little I'm here, like, I don't think it was. You know what's crazy? I and my brother went back and watched, and we saw a lot of clips in the NBA of guys getting, like, pushing LeBron. Like, I think it was Jeff Teague or somebody who, like, pushed LeBron out of bounds and said, "Man, I was mad because, like, we couldn't stop him." So, what did she actually say? Carter's version of the Clark foul is that it was not some random angry moment. She framed it as a reaction. She claims she may have been elbowed first. She claims someone yelled in her face, and then she hit a mid-range jumper and gave Clark what she called a little I'm here energy tap. That is her description, a tap. The league reviewed it, upgraded it, and classified it as a flagrant foul, but sure, a tap. So, I'm just like, it's like one of those things like it happens in basketball. I know people try to say, oh, it's not one of those. It's not a personal thing. It's a competitive thing. It happens in basketball, and it's just one of those things. But, like, yeah, it's kind of what happened. Then it spiraled out of control. And then the media takes whatever narrative they want to play. You watch every game, every single game, to see if you can find any deflection in my game. And like, really, nothing that you probably could say too much about. So then you have trolls, and that's why I said they're going to be around regardless. But yeah, it was just like a nice little tap, like, I'm here not to harm you or anything. If you want to push somebody, you're going to like full force. She also compared it to NBA physical play, specifically citing moments where players like Jeff Teague pushed LeBron James, basically arguing this is just competitive basketball smack talk and everyone is overreacting. And the whole time she is saying this, she does not sound sorry. Not even close. She sounds annoyed. Annoyed she got suspended. Annoyed that it followed her, and clearly annoyed that Caitlin Clark's career just kept going while hers completely stalled out. At one point she said, "My personal view is I don't have anything against her. She's a great player and so am I." And then immediately followed it with, "I love it though. They think I hate it. I love the hate." That is not someone doing damage control. That is someone who is frustrated and trying to cover it with bravado. I mean, that happens, man. Like, it's just one of those things. I'm a great player. She's a great player. It looks a certain way. Everybody's going to have their views on it. But my personal view is, I don't have anything against her. She's a great player and so am I. And I've got buckets all that season. You know what I'm saying? So, it's one of those things that I love though. They think I hate it. I love it. I love when it gets so that you feed off of, like, what people say, and it makes you more. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Oh yeah. I love the hate. I love it. Oh yeah. There is no part of that interview where Carter acknowledges that Clark was just running a route, just playing basketball, and got hit away from the play. There is no moment where she says the flagrant call was fair. Instead, she is the victim of a situation she says recreated. And that is the most explosive part of all of this, because she is now directly pointing at a current WNBA player and saying Ree told her to do it. I mean, the footage of Ree jumping up and down after the incident hints that Ree knew exactly what was going to happen. That claim was absent from everything Carter said right after the game. When reporters tried to ask her about it post-game, she shut it down completely. I'm not answering any Caitlin Clark questions. And then Chennedy just wants to give you an opportunity to talk about that moment between you and Caitlin. What was that play? What was said and, what did it lead to? Next question. Getting it seemed like she turned a little bit after I didn't answer any Caitlin Clark questions. Did she say anything to you? I don't know what she said. What do you say to her? I didn't say anything. That's enough. We're good. That was her response in the moment. No mention of being elbowed. No mention of Reese telling her anything. She just stonewalled everyone and walked away. So, the idea that Ree orchestrated this is a brand new addition to the story. One that only appeared after Carter had been overseas for a full season with 0 WNBA teams calling. And right after the podcast went up, Carter posted on X, I think the ability to consistently make layups just puts anyone in a different tier. So important to score easy. Fans immediately connected it to Reese's well-documented struggles with layup efficiency. So, she is blaming Ree in the interview, and then mocking her on social media the same week. These are not the actions of someone who has moved on. This is someone actively torching a relationship with a former teammate, while claiming she was just following that teammate's orders. So, why was Carter banned from the WNBA anyway? But it looks like she's blacklisted, and she will be playing professional basketball during the season, but it won't be for the WNBA. Carter getting banned from the WNBA sounds dramatic, until you actually look at her career from the beginning. And then it starts to feel like the only way this was ever going to end. Let's talk about Atlanta first. Carter went to the Dream in 2021 as a first-round pick with real scoring ability, and they suspended her before she even got a full season going. The official reason was conduct detrimental to the team. What actually happened was a blow-up with teammate Courtney Williams, who reportedly just asked Carter to fix her attitude, and Carter allegedly wanted to take it physical. Williams asked her to be a better teammate, and Carter treated it like a personal attack. That is how her professional career started. There's no doubt Chennedy Carter is extremely talented, but she's got to get her head screwed on straight. So, she moved to the LA Sparks. New city, fresh start. Same story. She got benched for conduct issues. The friction with the organization kept building, and the Sparks waived her in March 2023. And again, this had nothing to do with her ability to score a basketball. She could always do that. 3 organizations in a row made the same calculation. The talent is real, and it is still not worth it. Atlanta Dream did suspend her in the middle of the sophomore season, basically saying she was a detriment to the team and the team culture. So then the Atlanta Dream decided to trade her to the Sparks, the Los Angeles Sparks. Chicago was supposed to be different, and for a while it looked like it might be because she was genuinely good, leading the team at 17. 5 points per game. Real production. But the conduct issues did not stay in Atlanta or LA. They came with her. And on June 1, 2024, all of it landed on Caitlin Clark. Clark was running a route away from the ball, not in any kind of contested situation, and Carter just hit her. A deliberate shot to the body with nothing basketball about it. The league reviewed it, upgraded it to a flagrant one, and that was the moment everything caught up with Carter all at once. It's one thing pushing Ken Clark, and it's another thing blindsiding her. Like, I don't think there's any justification for that. Like, to be honest, we can be honest here. Clark's response after the game was exactly what you would expect from her. She said basketball is competitive, that emotions get the best of people, and that it had even happened to her. She made her free throws, stayed focused, talked about what the Fever needed to do going forward, and left it there. No drama, no campaign for a harsher punishment. She just kept playing. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but I think it's just respond, calm down, and let your play do the talking. It is what it is. It's a physical game. Go make the free throw and then execute on offense. And feel like that's kind of what we did. But, it is what it is, I guess. Carter, meanwhile, refused to answer a single question about it. I'm not answering any Caitlin Clark questions. That was it. That contrast right there, Clark being measured and professional while Carter stonewalled the media, became the whole story, and it told the league everything it needed to know about what it was dealing with. So, now let's talk about where Carter actually is right now. She is not sitting at home, waiting for a WNBA team to call. She signed with Analysts de Chihuahua, in Mexico's premier women's basketball league. And she did this while WNBA training camps were opening. Not during the off-season, during the actual season. And in China during the off-season, playing for Wuhan Shangfeng, she averaged 31.4 points per game on 51% shooting. She scored 50 points in back-to-back games, and won the WCBA MVP award. Seriously, she needs to do whatever she can to get some help, and get her anger under control, where she will not have another incident like the one where she slammed into Caitlin Clark, but she's out of the league. 31.4 points per game. That would make her one of the best scorers in the entire WNBA, and not one team is calling. She is out there winning MVP awards overseas, and the league is completely silent. That is not bad luck. That is a coordinated verdict from every single franchise at the same time. Playing full seasons abroad instead of waiting for a roster spot is not a coincidence either. It means Carter knows the phone is not ringing, even if she would never say that out loud. So, she was signed to the Chicago Sky with Teresa Weatherspoon, with Angel Reese, with Camila Cardoso, and the rest of the folks. And then we get to the body check. This was originally ruled an away from the ball foul, but it was obviously a flagrant foul. It really upset a lot of people, which really escalated the issue, and it was really just poor sportsmanship on Kennedy's part. While Carter was doing podcast tours and posting subtweets, Caitlin Clark was just playing basketball, and the Indiana Fever were turning into the most exciting team in the entire league. Let's talk about where the Fever actually was before Clark showed up. They were one of the worst teams in the WNBA. Bad record, empty arenas, nobody paying attention. And then Clark arrived, and the whole thing flipped. They went from a bottom feeder to a legitimate playoff contender. And the attendance numbers tell that story louder than any highlight reel. The Fever draw over 600,000 fans in attendance in a single season and average millions of viewers per game. That does not happen by accident. And here is the thing about Clark. She never needed the Carter situation to make herself bigger. She did not go on podcasts after the hip check. She did not push for a harsher suspension publicly. She did not tweet anything. She just kept playing, kept winning, and let the results do the talking. That is genuinely rare, especially for someone who had every reason to be angry. You just remind me of who I am and what I've been, and I didn't lose that. So, just continue to do that. The whole Fever roster has benefited from what Clark brings. Kelsey Mitchell was already a really good scorer before Clark got there. But Clark pulls so much defensive attention that Mitchell is getting cleaner looks than she ever has. Defenders cannot afford to leave Clark alone, so someone else is open. And Mitchell is the kind of player who makes you pay for that every single time. Aaliyah Boston is another huge piece of this. She is exactly the kind of teammate you build a winning locker room around. Accountable, focused, no drama, just locked in on winning. Boston talked about how Clark keeps her confident even when she makes mistakes, saying Clark is always telling her she has got the next one. That is the kind of leadership that actually holds a team together on a bad night. It is not flashy, but it is what makes teams good. Lexi Hall is the same way. She fits the system. She does the dirty work. She makes the right pass. The Fever have just surrounded Clark with people who actually want to win together, and you can see it in how they play. And then there are the numbers off the court. WNBA merchandise sales went up over 500% compared to the year before Clark's arrival. Player jersey sales went up 1,000%. Clark's jersey was the top seller in the entire league. And the league is reportedly using Clark's visibility as leverage in ongoing collective bargaining talks to get better deals for every single player. So Carter is overseas blaming Angel Ree for a flagrant foul, and Clark is literally being used to negotiate better contracts for the whole league. That is the gap we are talking about. So the WNBA essentially blacklisted a player who was averaging 17.5 points per game. A real scorer, a first-round pick with legitimate talent. And they did it because of conduct issues connected to Clark. That is the league making a clear choice. The culture that Clark and the Fever represent is worth more to them than Carter's scoring. That is not a small call to make. The Fever is not just a good story right now. They are the model. The league is watching what Indiana built, and that is the direction everything is heading. Accountability, team culture, players who want to win together instead of chasing their own numbers. Every podcast Carter does, every tweet she posts, every excuse she makes just keeps making that contrast more obvious. The Fever are out there building something, and Carter is out there explaining a 14-month-old hip check to a chaos streamer. 31 points a game overseas. 12 WNBA teams, 0 calls. That is not bad luck. That is every franchise in the league making the exact same decision at the exact same time. And going on Neon's podcast to blame Angel Ree is not going to flip any of those decisions. 3 organizations across her whole career made the same call. Atlanta, LA, Chicago, all different cities, same result. The talent was never the problem. The league picked the culture that Clark and the Fever built over a proven scorer. And that tells you exactly where the WNBA is headed. Do you think Ree is really to blame? Let me know down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next screen.